The Lunar series is one of my favorite series of all time. I've always loved them ever since I first played Lunar Silver Star Story Complete over on the PlayStation. I think that they are fantastic games, and now they are actually getting remastered, but I'm very worried about that, especially after Gung Ho put out their latest FAQ, where they confirm no to a whole lot of things, and I'm going to be telling you all about it today, and I do think that that's worth a sub, as I do try my hardest at 100,000 subscribers. For your help, your like, and your sub, I just know that I can get there. So thank you so much for your help in that matter. I know that these games were first released over on the Sega. I didn't have a Sega, but I first played them over on the PlayStation, and this remastered collection confirmed no! They are not going to be remastering or even adding in the original two Sega games. They're only going to be doing the PlayStation games, which you kind of already knew, but it was still kind of up in the air. But they also confirmed some other things, such as not being able to pre-order these games, which I did talk about just the other day in my news show. But they also said that it is not a limited release either. There will be plenty of copies for everybody that is interested. They also confirmed that this is Amazon only, which we also did kind of know, but there's some other things that they did confirm that just is like mind-boggling to me. There is not going to be a collector's edition either, which is just it's just the worst. It's just the worst. This is really what put Lunar on the map. For those who don't know, it was an underdog RPG. Nobody had really heard of it, in the PlayStation days. Everybody was going on about Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy VIII and Final Fantasy IX, the Wild Arms series, the Suikoden series, some of these other, RPGs that were out there. And then Lunar came out. And, what's Lunar? What is this? Even me, like a big RPG fan, I never really heard of it. But then I remember I was in the break room at Publix. I was 16, 17 something years old. And I was sitting there and I was reading one of the magazines. We were able to go and grab the magazines out of the little magazine stand while we, had our breaks or whatever. And I was reading about it, and it said that it was one of the best RPGs released over on the Sega, and it's getting a port over to PlayStation. So I was like, oh, this is great. So I went into GameStop, and I put in my pre-order for it and everything, and they were like, do you want, the collector's edition? I'm like, yeah, this is a great collector's edition. And I went and looked at it, and the thing is, a lot of games back then, most games back then, didn't have collector's editions. Collector's editions were a new thing. They were a brand new thing at the time. Nobody had really heard of them before. If a game released that had extra stuff, it was just the base way that it released, kind of like the Earthbound release or the Illusion of Gaia release. Just everything came with it. But this was a whole other level. This was the release of Lunar Silver Star Story Complete right here in this cardboard box. No other RPGs came like this with all this stuff in it. It was just amazing, absolutely amazing. And not only that, it came with a hardcover instruction manual with like a little bookmark ribbon in there. It has artwork in this instruction manual. It has all sorts of like developer interviews. It has like a little strategy guide in here. It's just amazing. Not only that, the game itself was 4 discs, even though the game was only, that's just the 2 discs, but it came with extra stuff like a musical soundtrack CD and a Making of Lunar CD as well. So you got so much with this collector's edition, and they continued that with Lunar 2 Eternal Blue Complete. This is the box for that I have. It's all kind of beat up because I played it so many times, but it's so freaking cool. For those of you who weren't around back in the 90s and didn't get this the first time, you don't know just how cool this was. And the same thing, it has the game, it has the CDs in it, and all that. It's just amazing. And it also has a Making of Lunar 2 CD in there as well. Not only that, this Omake box is even bigger. It comes with a soundtrack CD in here. It came with the same hardback instruction manual, and it even came with an Omake box right here that has like these little tiny standees. I haven't even taken them out of the plastic yet. They're still in their plastic wrap from whenever I purchased them, as well as Lucia's pendant right here inside of this little pouch or whatever. I'll go ahead and put on Lucia's pendant. Yes, I have it right here. There it is. Like, this was amazing at the time. Not only that, I have this framed. This came with it too. This picture of Hyro and Lucia right there. I have that in a frame. This cloth map came with it. With Lunar 1, this cloth map, which I have up on my wall too. Like, there was so much stuff. And it wasn't just limited to America either, y'all. I have the Sega Saturn release of Lunar 2 Eternal Blue right here. This is Japan only. And opening this up, it has the disc in it. It has an instruction manual. It's not hardcover instruction manual, but it is full color. And it does have artwork. You can tell that a lot of love and care went into this instruction manual. But not only that, it also has, there it is. It also has this little map in here too. So collector's editions are big, big, big in the Lunar world. And for them to not do a collector's edition for this, like, what are they thinking? You know, they're just like kind of like leaving money in the bank right here. And that is very, very, very unfortunate. Also, there are no difficulty options to be added either, which is huge. Because if you know anything about the history of Lunar, so here's the deal. Lunar was much easier in the Japanese release, and it was made much harder in the American release, because whenever Working Designs went and they localized the games, they added in extra difficulty simply because America had a rental market. Renting video games is pretty much unheard of over in Japan, and they didn't want people to, like, you know, do a 3-day rental and then finish it over the weekend and then return it and rent something else. So they made it much, much harder, and they made enemies scale with your level as well, especially the bosses. And this is notorious, and one of the very first bosses that you fight that can be almost impossible to kill if you level up too much. And it looks like they're still leaving in that Working Designs difficulty, which is very, very, very unfortunate. I wish that they had, you know, normal difficulty maybe, and say normal was the American version and then easy was the Japanese version, or maybe the other way around, say normal was the Japanese version and hard is American. I don't know what they would do there, but it's just unfortunate that they're not taking out that added difficulty level from Working Designs, which is strange because they're not using the Working Designs localization. Like, so they're going to use the Working Designs difficulty level, but they're not going to use their voice actors and actresses. But, you know, it's just odd. It's just odd to me what they're doing. And this is the other thing. I mean, I know that it's off in the future. I know that it's getting released this fall, but the Trails in the Sky remake is coming out, and Gung Ho is handling that too. And just like Lunar has a huge history of collector's editions, so does the Trails series. Xseed did some great, fantastic collector's editions, and Nisa followed up with that too. But if Gung Ho didn't do it for Grandia, and they're not doing it for Lunar, are they going to do it for Trails in the Sky the first? I kind of don't think so, and that makes me really, really, really sad. So I am very kind of apprehensive about this. I'm still gonna get the game, don't get me wrong. It is available physically for $55 on Amazon, but yeah, it's just kind of, I don't know. I don't really like the way they're handling this release. It just seems really weird that they're not doing pre-orders, just really odd that they're not doing collector's edition, that they're not honoring the history of the games. That's what's really getting to me. So I just wanted to let y'all know about this news, know about this information, and now I want to hear from y'all. What do you think about this? Let me know in the comments. Let's all talk and chat about it. And as always, have a good day.